Hi, my name is Christine Jetty, and I'm making this video for my final project for my class Seminar in Leadership at the University of Memphis. So this video is to discuss 3 of my leadership maxims, one from each category. The first being personal leadership, next team leadership, and finally organizational leadership. So my first maxim comes from my personal leadership, and this maxim is something that kind of sounds a little bit cheesy, but it was really ingrained in me during my undergraduate time at West Point, and that is to choose the harder right over the easier wrong. So West Point intends to build leaders of character and integrity, and so there are a lot of sayings that go around there, and one of them is to choose the harder right over the easier wrong. And that's something that kind of is a compass for me when it comes to decision making. My intent is to always make the honorable choice and keep my integrity intact. And I also feel like any choice that I make with those things in mind will be the right choice. So sometimes it's easier to just make a quick decision or to sweep something under the rug and just quickly move on. But sometimes that just sets a bad example for yourself. It sets a bad example for those around you, and it just leaves you with a little bit of dishonor at the end of the day. So it's also a slippery slope when you make a quick, easy, wrong decision. It just becomes easier to make another easy, wrong decision. So choose the harder right over the easier wrong is one that's just near and dear to my heart, and it helps me as I make choices throughout the days. My next maxim is team leadership, and it's simply NVGs. NVGs means night vision goggles. And this maxim has to do with my current work environment. We had a really hard week coming up, and I have 4 guys that work for me, and so you'll hear me say my guys sometimes. And we knew that it was going to be a pretty crazy week. We were going to be scheduled back to back. And one of the things that we had to do is we had to deprocess 1,600 night vision goggles, and we had about 8.5 hours to do it on a Monday. So we said, okay, all hands on deck, everybody be there Monday. And I told the guys, hey, I'll be there too. And I think what they expected me to do is just show up and check on things. But Monday I showed up in my jeans and my sneakers and my hoodie, and we got to work. And about 4.5 hours in, one of the program managers from outside of Fort Campbell went up to one of my guys and was like, wow, where'd you get this girl? She's like really helpful, and she's on it. And he told me that he was really proud to be able to say, well, that's my boss. So MVGs is just kind of a check for me. I usually do my best to never ask my guys to do anything that I'm not willing to do. It also, I feel like, was a shift in our office a little bit at that point. I had already been working there for, I'd say, about 8 or 9 months. But that situation just kind of shifted everything. Like, everybody understood that I had their back, and I just changed things that almost can't be explained. But it changed things for the better, and I do my best just to kind of keep that in the back of my head, and I will for the future. The third one and last one I'll discuss today is for organizational leadership. And this one kind of sounds harsh, and it had to be harsh for me. But this is a personal one. So it is that the Army doesn't care about you. And what I mean by that is almost literal. But I was working a lot, like way more than I should have been working. I was working at work. I was working at home. I literally answered my BlackBerry in the shower one time because I was afraid I was going to miss something. And I was becoming burned out quickly. So I went on leave for about 2 weeks. I left coordinating instructions, I left some continuity stuff, and things of that nature, and I left for 2 weeks, and I came back and everything was fine. And it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. I think I was hoping that something would kind of crash and burn a little bit while I was gone, but nothing did. And the Army is made so that you can be replaceable. It's required on occasion. So the fact that I was replaceable kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, but it was a really good check for me. I started working on my home work balance a little bit better. I stopped working at home so much. I stopped taking calls in the middle of the night for things that could be easily fixed the next morning, things of that nature. So I feel like this is kind of applicable to any job where if you start to work way too much, or if I started to work way too much, I would have to scale it back a little bit and just kind of recreate that balance for work and home. But that maxim is something for me that it just kind of hits home with me, and it makes me think twice before taking a phone call at 9 p.m. when I really could probably wait until the morning. So thank you very much for listening to my explanation of my maxims. I've really enjoyed this class. I've enjoyed the reading, and I've actually enjoyed the discussion boards, which I'm not usually a big fan of discussion boards. So I've pretty much enjoyed everything about this class, and I look forward to applying everything that I've learned in the future. Thank you.